Hello, this is Toby the Galactic Intuitive. How is everyone today? I hope you all are well and had a wonderful weekend. Speaking of weekends, did you prioritize your rest? Did you prioritize slowing down? That has been a heavy theme for me recently, and I say heavy because it is something that I personally struggle with. Ask any of my friends. And my family. I work way too much and I don't rest near enough. However, that is something I am actively working on, and not just working on because that's more work, right? Embracing the slowing down, embracing the rest, embracing the taking time to do what is pleasurable over what we place pressure upon ourselves to get done or accomplish. And I continue to get messages from the nine and from my higher self about really being so specific, not about the details of how I want my life to look, but how do I want it to feel? And that's something that I know that we've shared, that the nine has shared over and over again, but it's something that really bears repeating, and something that, as it is coming up for me and it's come up with in conversations with friends, that it's something that is so important for us in this particular segment. And we talked about this segment from November 11th through the end of the year. Did it begin earlier than that? It began into October, didn't it? I haven't gone back and re-listened to the message, but it began in October. So, I'm trying to remember when in October. Oh, October 29th through December 17th. It coincided with the Mercury retrograde, which is about slowing down in so many ways. Slowing down enough for us to be able to actually be in a state of reflection, in a state of pause, in a state of recalibration if necessary. So this overarching theme of allowing for the reflection, the recalibration, the restructuring. However, the even higher perspective is, why are we doing that? Well, we're doing that because we are getting very clearer and clearer on how we want our lives to feel on a day-to-day moment, and not just in those big moments, right? The acquiring of something that we've worked for, the accomplishment, or those big celebratory moments, those big milestone type moments. How do we want to feel in every day? Because if we're always reaching for something bigger, something more, that's all that needs to be said about that. If we're always reaching for something more, then we're not having satisfaction and gratitude and balance and pleasure. That word keeps coming up in the moment. And I'll speak from my own personal experience for a second here, but as a creator, and honestly, this applies to everyone, most of us within our society, that there is so much pressure to produce. And as a creator, it's trying to align with and be noticed by the algorithm. That has never resonated for me. There have been so many times in my journey here on YouTube that I would explore in that direction and try to work into what I was doing and the messages I was getting, not the messages themselves, but like how often I would share messages, what the thumbnails look like, what the titles look like, all those details that supposedly would help to be seen by the algorithm to allow the messages to get out there. And in the few times that I've done that, it didn't take me long to realize that it's not the algorithm that is what magnetizes those who need the messages to the messages. It's the frequency of the messages. And that is based in my energy too, as I am sharing these with you. Because I can certainly share messages that I received, but if I'm in an energy that doesn't allow for the expansiveness and the importance, the weight, not in a heaviness, but in the profundity of the message, then there's going to be dissonance between my frequency and that of the message. So what does this have to do with anything, Toby? What it has to do with is, oh, there goes the nose, placing importance and priority upon how we feel. That is a direct indicator of where our energy is and what we are aligning to. So you hear the little ding of the notification at that moment. So instead of attempting to align with some artificial algorithm, being in alignment with how we feel in so much as that tells us what our energy is. And so back chaining that a bit, right? If what we're feeling in the moment is not how we want to feel, then where do I need to, and I get this sense of kind of rewinding, and this goes with Mercury retrograde as well, rewinding within that segment of time, just a bit, just enough to recognize then where did that emotion initiate from? Oh, the nose. From within us though, not, and it may be our response to something externally, but from within us. And so then, and it's not to discount or dishonor those emotions, but if that's not how we want to feel, then how can we engage with that source of the emotion within us in order to then move forward towards how we want to feel? And so this is part of that recalibration, restructuring, renewal, rejuvenation that we've talked about this Mercury retrograde. And I know this seems somewhat repetitive, but there's so much importance to it. And we're digging down a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. And as we're about to, or Mercury is about to move from Sagittarius into Scorpio in 2 days from when I'm recording this, it'll be in Sagittarius. You probably won't see this until the 18th. So it moves into Scorpio on the 19th. This is even more important because it's diving down deeper into the depths. And that's what I'm speaking on now, is really getting to the depths of the source of how we're feeling and what needs to shift within us, or what we need to shift around us in our sphere of control in order to feel the way we want to feel. Because we're setting the stage, we're creating this foundation. This is where the blank canvas message came from on Friday. We're setting the stage for how we move forward now. And how we move, and learning how to embody that state of beingness before we have Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries. I feel like they're going to talk more about that later, but just to touch on that, Saturn, our foundations and structure, coming into the I am sign in the very beginning of the zodiac. They'll both be conjunct. Is that February 20th? I believe that's February. Is that right? Is that April? No, that's February 20th. It's a really, and I know we've talked about that time, that date recently as well. We have the solstice coming up on December 21st. And that the longest night of the year. And it feels like a beautiful point of, I don't want to say reset, I want to say rest. But it's bringing things together in such a new way. And I know that sounds very, very vague. So coming back around to where I initially started, allowing yourself to slow down. Separate yourself from the external pressures. Yes, you can go to your job, you can you can do your studies, you can take care of your responsibilities, and you can make sure that within that set of responsibilities, there is a subset that belongs to you. Meaning, we're in that subset that you're, if I could talk, you are, what's the word? Oh my gosh. Now my vocabulary is leaving me. You're allotting a section of all the responsibilities within all of your personal responsibilities. You are allotting an equal section to your responsibility to yourself. Now, there was a message not too long ago about our responsibility to self. I'll see if I can't find that to link at the end. But allotting responsibility to self and stepping outside of this pressurized state. It's all an illusion anyway. It's just that we've been so conditioned to the hustle and busy culture and always being on and always being available for other people and being available basically to everything else except for ourselves. That we've come to believe that, and through conditioning, that is the truth, and it's not. It's all an illusion. It's only the truth if we decide to allow it to be our truth. It's only the truth if we decide to allow it to be our truth. I must say that one more time. It's only the truth if we decide to allow it to be our truth. So, separating yourself from the pressure. Don't let that be what defines your days. Don't let that be what defines your priorities. Don't let that be what defines your experience, how you feel. Allow how you feel to be what defines your experience. And you set the parameters for your energetic investment and expenditure in every day. I know I can feel so much resistance, but it's not coming. I don't really think it's coming from you guys. I think because the other thing I wanted to say is that a big part of this, and the reason why I know I'm experiencing it so strongly and why I feel like this is going to resonate for you guys, is because we're here to be the example, to live in this new way. And yes, it is totally counter to how so many people across the world live. But we're here to anchor this new frequency of existence into the collective. And we've talked about that in many different formats. This may be the most important, because it's actually embodying our sovereignty, our energetic sovereignty in a new way. Embodying it in a way that not just in a way that we feel it internally. Again, this goes back to the blank canvas message from the other day, but in embodying it in how we move about within the world. within all aspects of the world. There's a stretching out of the wings, a stretching out of the energetic field, not past the point of sovereignty, but stretching ourselves so that we are able to move about freely in the world and maintain that level of sovereignty. Again, it's anchoring this new way of being into the collective. And this is a huge part of New Earth as well. Separating from the pressure, whether it's external or internal. And if you notice that you are experiencing a lot of internal pressure, looking at the source of that and looking into the illusion behind it. Where did that come from? And do you really believe it to be true? And if you really don't believe it to be true, now is the time to reevaluate that and rewrite that story for yourself. And the only way you can truly rewrite the story, or for it to really stick with you, especially right now, is to live it. It's not just about thinking it. It's about actually putting it into implementation in how you walk around in your life every day. So slow down. Slow down. There's no rush. There's no push. You're not running out of time. You're not behind. I know there was a message about that recently too. And this is part of this Mercury retrograde period. It's bringing all this information together. And we talked about that with the blank canvas message too. It's this, we have this accumulation of knowledge and wisdom and tools and skill sets. And now it's to bring it all together. And how do we create life going forward? Utilizing that information. Moving forward with it, not just carrying it around in our backpack and thinking about it and utilizing it internally, but actually putting it into action. And not to say that that hasn't been happening, but it's time to take it to a new level. It's time to get even deeper. And as Mercury goes into Scorpio in the next day or two, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the depths of it. You're going to feel the depth of the illusion that has been hanging over you and creating this sense of pressure. And so allow Scorpio to do its thing. Allow it to dig it up. Allow it to be released, to die, so that you may be rebirthed and reborn in this newly transformed state. One that is free from those illusions. One that's free from the pressure. Because freedom is where we're headed. Okay, I think that's a good place to end. Thank you guys so much for being here. As always, I so appreciate each and every one of you, and appreciate your likes, your comments, your shares, subscribing to the channel. It all means so, so much to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And your super thanks. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. All right, there is a message coming soon from the 9 about green. Wasn't sure if it was coming today, but the message today needed to happen today. It all happens in divine timing again. And it's the same as this process for us. So take it easy. Release the pressure. You're right on time. Allow yourself to slow down. All right. Sending you guys so much love. I will see you very soon.